Hey everybody, and welcome back to Backstage Bimbo TV. My name is Alycen Rowse, your hostess with the mostest, doing cocktails and rocktails today. This is my book. We've got tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, me, written and lived by. Bigger and better than any other groupie book, because most groupies only have 3 years. I have over 30. That tells you alone. Anyway, so, and I do the cocktails with rocktails. I do different rock star every week when I'm doing this series. Today we're going to talk about former KISS drummer Eric Carr. Oh yes, people think, oh, he's not that. See, this is Eric, and you guys can Google him. Yeah, people are like, he's not so hot, but he's pretty hot for the 80s, and he really was one of the sweetest guys. And I really want to talk about him because he was one of the first really big rock stars that I got. And because, well, his ex-girlfriend, Carrie, hates it when I talk about him. So, cheers, big ears, Carrie. This one's for you. Anyway, so, and I also do the cocktail. So, this is called the Big Dick Cocktail. Because also, again, Eric was the first wow I had ever experienced because I was, I was young. And inexperienced. He was like the third man I had been with. Anyway, so the Big Dick Cocktail, I will put the recipe down in the description here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell. Have a drink with me. Come see what rock and roll was really like when it was cool. Anyway, so the Big Dick Cocktail, it is Jaeger. It is rum. It is blackberry liqueur, banana liqueur. And the recipe said it was really, really, really gross. But yeah, let's see. They said to drink it really fast. After a couple, you won't care. Oh, cheesy crizzy. Yeah, no. Ooh. I don't know how I ever did Jaeger this much with Metallica, but anyway, that's a different story. So today we're talking about Eric Carr. Now, this was the first time I met KISS. KISS was a band that I absolutely 100% grew up sneaking into my brother's room, looking at the album. I swore up and down I was going to marry Ace Frehley. Then I saw him without the makeup, and I was like, no. No, I don't think there's a single one of these guys I would marry until Eric Carr joined the band. And I was like, oh, he's hot. So I had just met Kristen. This is probably the third or fourth concert we had hung out at. She and I just had total kismet. It was really awesome as friends. Danny had gone back to Missouri for a little bit, where we were from. And so Kristen and I, this is a time before cell phones. So we decided to meet down at the Marriott because we had been out the night before. The way to find a band, especially in the 80s when there was no cell phones, no internet, nothing, was just to cruise, what we called doing the rounds. So the rounds, we did the rounds the night before because a lot of times the bands will be in town the night before. And the rounds is looking to see where the tour buses, which hotel they're parked at. And it was almost always the Marriott downtown, but that's another blog. So anyway, the band KISS was not in town the night before. Must have been having a show. And we woke up really early. I woke up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, got ready. By 8 o'clock, I was at Kristen's school. Or I had called her. We were meeting. We were going to meet downtown. And I think it was around 10 a.m. is what time I personally got to the hotel. Early bird gets the worms. Or in Gene Simmons' case, the acorn in the cotton patch. Anyway. Sorry. Anyway, so I walk into the side of the Marriott Hotel, which you guys will see that in a blog I'll do post before this. So I go in the side entrance of the Marriott Hotel, you know, just because that's where I had parked or whatever. Walk in, and when you walk in, there was a bar here, there's the bathrooms here, straight ahead there's a staircase, then there was the main lobby, and over here was the check-in counter, this way to the, what do you call it, the elevators. And there was, you know, the middle lobby, there were stairs up to the second floor where the pool was. Pool's important in this story. So I go walking in, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I have got on full rocker gear. I've got on a white leather miniskirt. I've got this black bustier with rhinestones on it, looking all Madonna-y before Madonna. White leather fringe, you know, waist jacket that was so 80s, stockings, garters, the whole 9 yards. Dressed to the T's, 10 o'clock in the morning. If you didn't, you know, if you're a rock star, you know, this girl walking in, she's looking for you. So come on over, boys. Mom is ready to play. So as I walk in, I look over across, I get past Bentley's and stuff, the little hallways, and Bentley was the hotel bar that we were always at with the band. So, and I look over, and there's Gene and Paul. I'm just leaning on the counter, hanging out, checking in. It's Gene and Paul. These kids, these two rock icons that I had grown up staring at my brother's albums in his bedroom, you know, after all these years, and there they are. And here was, you know, one of these, and I had watched like KISS Phantom of the amusement park and all that. You know, they had done all these specials on TV shows. So KISS was like a huge part of our culture growing up. So for me to see these guys actually in person was so insane. So, and I go in and they're leaning on the counter, and then Paul looks over and he kind of hits Gene. They both look over, so now they're just leaning. Checking out the groupie. Obviously, I'm a groupie. Who else is going to be leather stockings and garters at 10 o'clock in the morning unless it's a hooker going home? And a hooker is something I've never been, and I've proven it legally. But another thing we'll get into. So anyway, yeah, so they notice me. And I do the usual route, kind of pretending I'm going towards the mall, because at the time, the Marriott Hotel was connected to Crossroads Mall. So you could just sort of cruise through the hotel to get to the mall. But really, I'd go to these side bathrooms and make sure I looked all pretty. So I did that, you know, because I saw them looking at me, and I was kind of checking them out. They were checking me out. We were playing the eye game, and ooh. You know, me being the shy young girl that I was. Yeah, I was younger, but anyway. So I go in the bathroom, fix myself up, I come out, and I kind of look to my right, you know, because I go past so that they can have a nice long look, I go past the check-in counter. Well, they weren't there when I come out. I'm like, oh, bummer. But then next thing I know, I was headed towards the elevators, because you could always go up to the floors and figure out which floor they were on by all the do not disturb signs. Still to rock and roll this day. You want to know which room the bands and the roadies are in? Find all the rooms with the new do not disturb signs. But so anyway, I go walking towards the elevator, and all of a sudden, out of the restaurant, right there by the elevators, comes a long black leather jacket, a button-down shirt with hair and stuff. And I remember this crown pin on the lapel of his jacket, and he stops right in front of me. He says, "You don't think I'm going to let you get away, do you?" Oh. Gene Simmons, whoa. I'm like, well, I wasn't trying to get away. Well, you're a precious little morsel. He's like, you should come up to my room and hang out. He's like, and he was in like room 305, and he's just trying to, and it's Gene Simmons being suave, Gene Simmons, like that facade that you see on his TV show where he's like, I'm Gene Simmons. A suave. But anyway, yeah, so it was just like, oh, it's Gene Simmons, and you know, first thing I see is chest hair, and it's just all gray and curly and brittly, like his hair. But I was just like, oh, well, okay. And he's like, well, I'm staying under Dr. Nemento. And I'm thinking, well, you know, if I don't find Eric Carr, because that was my mission. Eric Carr was 100% my mission. So I thought, well, if I don't find Eric Carr, well, at least I got Gene Simmons on the line, and definitely be on the guest list with him, won't we? So I was just kind of flirting back, and he actually gives me his room key. He's like, well, I'm going to finish breakfast, Alycen. He's like, so why don't your pretty little thing be waiting for me when I get up there? No, sure. I was like, okay. So I just get in the elevators, you know, go up to the second floor to the indoor pool. It had a retractable roof at the time, but it was an indoor pool on the second floor of the Marriott. So, and Danny is in back in St. Louis at the time. And, you know, she and I had experience backstage together, so this is all I know. So I'm calling her, and I'm like, calling her collect. I go up to the window where the pool attendant was. Come in, and I just walk across all these lawn chairs, and then over here is the pool. Pool's behind me, and there's all these other chairs over there. So I just call, and I'm like, calling Danny, and she answers the phone, and I turn around, and I'm like, yeah, I'm at the Hotel KISS. Gene Simmons just gave me his room number, or his room key. He's staying under Dr. Demento, all this stuff, and I turn around as I'm saying this, and I look over, and here's this big hair, just big hair, cop shades, EP Speedo, little Speedo, sorry, it was the cutest little Speedo, just lounging on this chair in the middle of the day with these mirror shades and his big hair and his tiny Speedo is Eric Carr. So I look over, and he's just like, hey. And I'm all, hey. So me and all my rocker girl gear, my leather, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the morning, I go sit down across the pool the other end. I'm like, Danny, I gotta go. I'm like, there's the drummer, Eric Carr, that I've been looking for. She's like, oh, go get him, go get him. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna. So I sit on the opposite end of the pool. Of course, he gets up, comes around, sits there, just casually sits next to on the, you know, lounge chair next to me. Says, what's your name, girl? It's Alycen. So, yeah, Alycen. He's like, well, how old are you? 18. For all these stories, I'm going to be 18. So anyway, so we have this little conversation, and he's talking to me, and he's like, well, you know, let me go up to he's like, you should come up and join me in my room, you know, we should have a drink and kind of get to know each other. And I'm like, okay, cool, of course. Took me 20 minutes to find the rocker I wanted and to have him invite me up to his room. Okay, a drink will do. That's fine. If you want to play that scenario, that's fine, because I was kind of a no BS kind of girl. Yeah, once I got you up in your room, I was doing what I wanted. I wasn't the rock star's toy. They were mine. And Kristen's. And Danny's. And Damon's. And Andrea's. All of ours. They were our lovers. Our lovers. We weren't their toys. So, yeah, get my rocker that I want. 20 minutes in that hotel. Like I said, early bird gets the worm. And boy, did I get a friggin' worm. Whew. Sorry, guys. That's just so gross. So, yeah, anyway, so, yeah, he's like, give me 15 minutes so I can jump in the shower, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I go up, you know, call Danny back. I'm like, talk to you later. I'm going up to Eric Carr's room. I try and call Kristen again because I know she's on her way down. So, anyway, sorry for the pause. I know Kristen's on the way down. I don't see her yet. So, I try calling her phone. No answer. Okay, she's on her way down. And if anything, you know, she can always take over Gene Simmons where I left off, which I think that's what happened. But anyway, so I go up to Eric's room, all nonchalantly, doop, 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 knock on the door. He answers the door. He's wearing nothing but his towel. Rock stars like to do this sometimes. Why put the pants back on? They're just going to come off anyway. Towel makes it more convenient. So anyway, it's true. He answers, oh crap, sorry, I've got tea over here, and yeah. So he answers the door, and he invites me in. We just have a little chitter chatter. I sit on the end of the bed. I was taking guitar lessons at the time, and we were talking about that, and, you know, are you sure you're 18? Yes, sir, I'm 18. So anyway, he's like, hey, I've got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And we get our drink. He goes to get room service knocks. We had ordered some drinks. They knock. He goes to get our drinks. He comes back. He's kind of like sitting closer to me, starts kissing me. He's like, I'll got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And he comes out. The towel is gone. And he's already showing himself in a very elevated state. Well, I wasn't very experienced. Like, he was the third guy I was with. Oh gosh, oh my gosh, he came at me with that thing, and I was like, oh lordy, I'm in trouble. I'm in so much trouble. I don't think, no, that thing cannot, it's supposed to go where exactly? No, I don't think it could fit there. I mean, a baby's head could fit out there. But no, that thing's not, no. So he's coming towards me and he's got something in his hand and I can't figure out. And we'll talk about Eric. Yeah. So he's coming towards me and he's got something in his hand. I'm like, what is this? It's like some little can in this big syringe. I'm like, oh God, am I going to end up in a road case kidnapped by KISS? What is going on here? I had no clue because, you know, I'm all new to this whole sex scene and birth control and stuff. But so he kneels down in front of me, kind of gently parts my legs. He's like, I just want to use this just to be on the safe side. It was spermicide. So I guess you put the syringe to the little thingy, it fills it up with this foamy, and you floop, there you go. In. And he seemed to enjoy doing it. It was kind of like a foreplay to him. So, okay, cool. You know. Yeah. So we had our encounter. And I thought, you know, I don't know if this is gonna, I don't know. Because it's big. I mean, it was the girth. Ladies. So what did I do? I thought, okay, if I can fit it in my mouth. And okay, I can fit it in my mouth. It hurt a little. I think I might have got a stretch mark back then. But yeah, so when life went on, everything was merry. Spent a couple hours doing what we were doing. We finish up. Asked me, you know, so you're coming to the show later? Well, I don't know. Are you going to put me on the guest list? That was always our answer. And yes, he did, obviously. Guest. And this is a good pass. You have after shows, working, all access VIP, laminates, guests, opening act. It all really varies. So, but obviously, for a groupie, the pass doesn't matter. She can go wherever she wants. But yeah, so here I was meeting Eric Carr. This, you know, and here I am, go to the show, hanging out with KISS. Want to know what happened after the show? Come to my Patreon, because it is kind of a little witch fest between groupies. It's kind of fun, and it'll set the stage for one of my other vlogs. But yeah, so that's how I very first met KISS. Walked across the hotel lobby, was the first groupie to get there. And after Eric and I were done, and I said something about Gene Simmons, and he was like, what? He's like, you met Gene before me? And I was like, well, yeah, but I wasn't with him or anything. He's like, oh my God, Gene gets so pissed when he thinks I'm still in his groupies. I'm like, you're not still his groupies. He's like, oh, I don't know what to do. We're going to have to hide you during the show. And I'm like, no, just tell him that you called me, that I knew you, and that's what I was doing here. And he was like, oh yeah, good idea. So, you know, there's this whole competition between rock stars and groupies, just like there is rivalry between groupies for rock stars. So come to my Patreon to find out a little bit more about what happened after the show and kind of how I made my mark on the scene really for the first time to the old guard groupies with Eric Carr. So, all right, thanks guys for joining me for Cocktails and Rocktails. Big Dick Cocktail, give it a try if you really want to get drunk. These days I'm a lightweight. Alright, thanks for tuning into Backstage Bimbo TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bells. Anyway, alright, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Rock on. See you next week.